Hey guys, let's get into it. So this is the second part of our Sherman Augustus interview. And of course, you know he plays Moon on Into the Badlands. And you guys are in for it because this is the Q&A section. So if you've had a question about the show, the chances are he answers it. So let's get into it. All right, listen, I'm not gonna keep you too long. Can we get into some
yeah, let's do the questions.
Okay.
Let's do the questions. All right.
So the first one's from me. I'm gonna put my question in the back.
Okay.
All right. So I'll ask the first one from a buddy of mine who just finished watching season 3. He was watching it on Netflix, and I think he actually even paid to see. I was like, dude, you haven't caught the first 8 of season 3? He was like, no, I only got Netflix, but he went and paid to see the first.
AMC.com. You could have went to AMC.com.
I couldn't. I tried to do that. Sherman, but it wasn't. It only gave me clips. I couldn't play.
It gave you clips, yeah. But now they have this new channel where you can watch everything.
Okay.
From all the shows. I mean, going all the way back to, the conception of AMC is almost everything is there in their catalog, so you can watch that. Yeah. Okay. It's a new channel. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So here's this question: how functional is the mechanical hand? Can it really do the things we see in the show?
There's different versions. There's different versions that do different things. Sometimes we cheat it.
Okay.
And, I'll have on this, they made a couple of prosthetic gloves that are really cool that we can interchange some of the mechanisms. And then there's one that's really hard and rigid.
Okay.
And that's the one I use. There's like 2 or 3 versions of those things, which I usually use to actually block, those swords. I mean, even though some of the swords, of course, are real, but when we're actually swinging them at each other, we use a resin sword.
Okay.
It still hurts when it hits you, right? It. And so, yeah, that hand is from the hand all the way here with the gauntlet. Okay. So it's easier to block, and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool. So, yeah. And then there's a couple of versions that are just one piece that I can hit a switch and the dagger pops out.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then there's the ones when I do this, and it's a rigid, hard hand, and basically, they can cheat where the darts come out.
Okay. Oh wow.
So there's like honestly there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 8 versions of that hand.
Wow.
Yeah, 8 versions.
I wonder if they're gonna let you keep one of those.
I could have brought some home, but I'm like, you know what? I'll wait. Trust me. Yeah. I'm bringing stuff home piece by piece. I heard Daniel the other day talking about he's gonna. When we wrap up this show, period, he's going to get one of the motorcycles. Oh, yeah. There's a BMW motorcycle they have there. I want so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. Yeah. So bad. And of course, I'll get my sword and everything like that. But I do have a few things here.
Yeah, I might have to nab some stuff myself.
I'll nab some stuff for you, bro. So, let me know what you want. I'll box it up and ship it to you. Don't worry about it.
I'll take it. All right, so our next question is from Leah. I think Landry is how you pronounce Leah's last name. And it says, what are you more inclined to play, a good or a bad character? What's your preference?
My preference right now, I love playing Nathaniel Moon because he is an honorable guy. So that brings out the honorable side of me. But I think right now I'm leaning more towards some really darker characters. Mm-hmm. There's something that I'm up for. This cat is just really, really dark, and no one's ever seen me play anything like this. And this dude is constantly on the edge. Mm-hmm. And so they're a lot more fun to do for me or for any actor because you discover stuff about yourself. Because you're not that guy all the time.
Right. It's
kind of cool to go and basically for me, acting is a form of therapy.
Okay.
And I think you may have heard me say this before. Sometimes I'm more at home in front of the camera than I am just being Sherman.
I do.
And a lot of actors are like that because you get a chance to explore what's really inside your own psyche. What you're capable of. This, when you're an athlete, you find out what you're capable of when the game's on the line and you're not open, but they throw you the ball and you catch the sucker with one hand and you score. Just a difficult catch, or you're in the right place at the right time to stop somebody from scoring to win the game. Well, then, you find something about yourself. You find out where you are as a human being and as a person. And that's how I feel with certain characters and acting. I don't like playing it safe. Okay. Safe for me is boring.
Okay.
and I can't be boring.
Okay.
I can't.
So did you in the role that in the role that you were talking about, the darker role? I often wondered if actors sometimes come across roles where it's so dark that they just like almost emotionally or even to some extent psychologically like I have a hard time inhabiting a role because it's not who they really are, but it's so dark.
And that's where putting on the wardrobe, the costume, helps you go to that place. I remember watching an interview with Michael Douglas when he did the role when he was playing Falling Down.
Yep, I remember that.
And he said he was having a hard time connecting with that character until that morning. He went in, he put on his clothes, and then they gave him his haircut, his box cut that day. And he looked at himself, he goes, oh, this is simple. Now I got the look. I know how it feels to be an out-of-work actor. He was able to coincide that character to being an out-of-work actor because, you know, we go nuts when we're not working.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw, you know, and I'm like, he's right, you know. And so what I try to do is try to find different scenarios in my life to make me, you know, I've never shot anybody, thank God, but I know how it feels to want to shoot somebody because when homie cut me off in traffic and flipped me the bird, he got away. And I'm like, really? You doing that to me? Me? Seriously?
Right.
I'm crazy and I know karate. Wait a minute, you know, can't get you. Not that I'm advocating violence.
No. Yeah.
But those are the things. So those are the things you reach back and go, I remember that day.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that day. So where I was and what I was capable of doing. And so that's how I started building. So those things are more interesting because, again, you find out more about yourself. And then sometimes it's hard to shred that at the end of the day. Emotionally, when you're doing an emotional scene, it's kind of hard to shred it, you know, to get it off of you. I've certainly seen actors, you know, after doing a role or doing a scene on stage, it took a long time to come down. I mean, you know, especially if you're able to access certain emotions within yourself. And it's just, you know, it's really hard. I don't like to use fantasy. Mm-hmm. You know, if something happened to my daughter or my mom, I don't like to use that. I like to deal in reality. I know what I would do in the real world.
So what do you do, since you said that, what do you do when you have a scene that's really intensely emotional and it's hard for you to step out of it? I read that some actors literally take a physical shower and imagine just washing all that stuff off of them. Do you have like a process for kind of de-escalating or coming down?
I try to, after something emotional, I try to come down right away. If not, I'll just walk around a little bit, and everybody gives you your space, which, by the way, I have to do that. This is the reason why I love this show so much. This show has allowed me as an actor to touch every emotion under the sun, which is very rare. And especially in the next 8, I get to go there.
Oh, wow.
I get a chance to get really pissed, right? And friends of mine, they go, you're just doing you, dude. I've seen you that mad before. I've seen you that sensitive before. And so there's a couple of things that's coming up where I'm really, really, really emotional. And I remember that day, it was a long day, and we'll talk about it when you see this stuff, and you'll pick it up. Okay. I remember Emily and Allie, I just saw it in their eyes the whole time. They were just like, oh my God. They felt so sorry for me. They felt sorry. They didn't feel sorry for Nathaniel. They was feeling sorry for Sherman.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you okay? Like, she was like, oh my God, Sherman. So that makes you feel good. So a lot of times that happens, and, you know, it's kind of hard to come down from that. And then sometimes it's kind of hard to come down when you have that great day at work and, you know, you step outside yourself. I had an acting coach that used to tell me all the time, surprise yourself. Surprise yourself. Surprise yourself. And there's nothing more gratifying in your life to be on set. And, you know, I like to bring the subtext. I don't think the subtext. I like to bring the subtext to the surface, and I'll say the subtext, whatever's on my mind. Mm-hmm. And a lot of writers, producers, and directors love that.
Okay.
And so what happens is if that ends up on you know, in the finished product, then I know everybody dug it, and we were all doing something that just, you know, it's just, you always want to keep yourself, surprise yourself and surprise the other actor because it brings everybody up. It's easy to bring, the thing of it is, it's like it's easier to bring an actor down than bring an actor up. So I like to start in a place where we're all even, mm-hmm. and, you know, and then we go to someplace else. You know, especially if you're the people that you're in the scene with or the person you're in the scene with, it's like a great tennis match. And I tell you who does that really well is Nick Frost.
Okay.
Nick can go. I mean, you're in the makeup room, makeup trailer, and Nick's already going. So you know what kind of day you're going to have. And it's just, Nick's just talking. Nick is just being Nick Frost. He's just being Nick, right? And then when he turns into Baji, you know, then it's just all bets are off. And you just got to watch yourself. You know, you're going to have to be in the moment so you don't bleed to death biting your lip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the whole fun of this whole thing. Trust me. I ask Daniel all the time, how do you do it all day long with Nick, man? Yeah. How do you do it? You know, and Daniel's like, I don't know. I don't know. So it's just wonderful to do. So yeah, a lot of times, you know, it's hard to shed that. You need a moment to let it go and bring yourself back down. But that's the whole thing about acting. That's when you know you're there, when you can just disappear.
Yeah. Wow. So our next question is from I think you pronounce this Bread McHugh. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Apologies. But this is her question.
That's a good band name, ladies and gentlemen. Brad McHugh.
So yeah, right. It's a all right. So here's a question. Which scene did you find most challenging to shoot in the show Into the Badlands?
Simple scene. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say this on your channel, man.
Okay.
All right. Out of all my years, I think I've done it once, but it wasn't like the stakes weren't as high. Mm-hmm. Never had, and Orla used to tease me about this all the time. She goes, "What the hell is wrong with folks?" I've never had an on-screen kiss, right? And then I've never had to like. Well, you know, in the hood, we call it spit game. You know, I never had to spit game, right?
Yeah.
And so there was the scene that we were shooting in the Viceroy's office when I knock on her door and I come in. And we have this thing. And Orla, and anybody who's worked with Orla Brady would tell you this. She is the most comfortable actor to work with in the world. And you can go through a litany of actors that will tell you that throughout her career. It's just, she's just a great person. It's easy to connect. So I was there. So we shot all of her stuff first. And when they turned the camera around on me, I kind of like burnt myself out. And so I had to reach in and pull my inner gang. Right. So I did a take and I was almost there. And I leaned over to Earl and I said, bump it. I didn't say bump it, but I said bump it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do Sherman. She looked at me like, what does that mean? You'll see. So what Toa Frazier got was, you know, when I did that whole thing, she's leaning against the desk. Yeah, that was pretty fun. She was game for it. And so, but it was so comfortable, and it was just one of those things because you never want to invade another actor's space. It's all, you know, but when you have that understanding that you're trying to do something that's in the moment, right? You get over your fear. And that's basically what that was. Okay. That, for me, that was, you know, a fear of, okay, I've played this before, but not the stakes weren't this high, and I didn't have to drive the scene this way, you know, and I had to drive that scene. So I'm just like, oh, dude, come on, man, don't mess it up. So, yeah, she was there for me, and it worked out. And she got a kick out of it. Everybody got a kick out of it. It worked very well. So that was probably one of the hardest scenes I've ever done on the show. Second hardest is in the next 8. Okay.
It's so interesting because I when I saw that question, I thought for sure you were going to say something about a fight scene. So that's really cool that it was actually something different. Because I didn't think
the physical stuff is you know, of course it's hard, but you know, ex-football player, you know, you can get used to the physical stuff. Physical stuff comes a lot easier once you get into it. But when you have to go to a place and make it believable, there's nothing worse in the world for me. I hate it. When I see two actors on television, on screen, and you know there's no chemistry, then somebody wasn't there.
Yeah.
See, I can't do that. It's got to be, we have to have some kind of chemistry. You know, professional chemistry, everything. It's got to be there. Yeah. And it worked out. It worked out. And that's very important for me. Very important for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. This is my question. So it says, how did you get started in acting? So I know that you were a former football player, but what made you acting instead of businessman, or you know.
Yeah. Okay, so I had a cousin who was in the business when I was growing up, but I went to high school and college with Jim Bridges Jr., who is Todd Bridges' older brother.
Oh.
And we played football, high school football together, and we played college football together at Northwestern.
Okay.
But what led to that is, of course, their mother was a manager and their father was my agent. So I would do little commercials here and there in high school and whatever. I didn't do much in college. But the minute I said I hung up my cleats, you know, I called Leonard King up, my agent, my football agent, said, I'm out. You know, it was good. It was a good run. I'm out of here. Hung up the phone and called Jim and said, I'm in full time. And so, but what I did was make sure I got into classes. I studied with the right people, because, you know, back in that day, there was this misconception that athletes, any athlete, if you were in the NHL, you know, NBA or national, the baseball league or whatever, that athletes were not bright at all. And then plus, you know, I was a lot bigger, so I had to shed all that muscle mass and all that kind of stuff because I wanted to be considered an actor, which was important for me. So, and that's the reason why I got into some of the best classes, studied with some of the best acting teachers, did a bunch of plays. I did 5 years of improv theater at the West Side Theater in the Valley here in Los Angeles. And then, you know, did a couple of plays. And, you know, my very first acting gig was Colors. Oh. And it was my first acting gig, down Cheeto's first acting gig, down Glenn Plummer's. You know, it was all of it. I mean, Dennis Hopper hired a bunch of, you know, out of the blue cats. Yeah.
I remember
Colors. So thank you, Dennis Hopper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know what? Keanu Rose wanted me to ask this, and I guess in the Facebook group, I don't know if there is like a comic book that goes around and folks sign, but she said she wants to know if you will sign her global comic book. So it makes me think I've seen something maybe where people hold up a comic book that different cast members have signed. So maybe that's what she means. So
yeah, I'll sign it. Absolutely.
Okay. So there you go. He'll sign it.
I'll sign it.
All right. So the next one is from Melissa Myers, and she says, "Oh, where would you like to see things go with Lydia?" I don't know if you can. So.
I don't think Moon is into, because there's going to be a conversation between her and Nathaniel about ruling again. He's cool if she wants to do that. He's following her lead.
Okay.
You know, but he would love to just pack up, go away, have a nice quiet life with Lydia. That's what he would love to do.
So it's interesting. That question is interesting as well, because remember what I was saying before, like the Badlands has a way of trying to kind of keep things going. So I don't know if she so
Exactly. And we were both kind of hoping that was in the writing, but every time we got a script, we're like, it's not there. It's not there. You know. But we do talk about it a couple of times, but close but no cigar.
Okay.
It's the Badlands. When the Badlands is done with you, then the Badlands is done with you. If the Badlands doesn't want you to go, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
So this one is another question I had. This is actually not even Badlands related, and that's simply, what are some of your hobbies?
Photography is one. I picked up that late, so I definitely love that. It's something. I just love beauty. I love angles. I love light, and so and you know how light bounces off shadows and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna start getting back into that really good and heavy. I play music, so I play drums, bass, keyboard.
Oh wow!
Not too many people know, but one of my first gigs after football, I was a staff writer at Motown for like 6 months.
Oh wow!
And I was like, this ain't me. Okay. So I do that. You know, I have to always constantly create. You know, and you know, I'm a big hike enthusiast. I like to go hiking and you know just work out and all that kind of. Keep it simple.
Okay.
I like to keep it simple, but you know, I love to travel. Travel is one of my main ones. I love traveling and just seeing and meeting new people.
Okay.
You know, love that.
So my follow-up to that is, would you ever, or are you thinking about possibly getting behind the camera?
Oh, this is happening right now. So
okay.
Yeah, there's there's a couple of things that I will be talking about and putting on Twitter and all that kind of stuff in a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. One will be, it looks like me and my business partners. Last week we pitched 2 projects to, who we pitched to? We pitched to, his name is escaping me right now.
Okay.
But pitched to his company, Matt Reeves. We pitched to Matt Reeves' company. I know Matt Reeves is writing and possibly directing the next Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And so we pitched to his company, and that was actually my business partner just calling me.
Okay.
So we pitched to them. That pitch meeting went great. But it looks like we're going to get, and nobody knows this, so I'm going to say it here now on your channel.
Okay.
It looks pretty good that we're going to get the rights to Truck Turner.
Oh, wow.
So we're looking at that. We have everything. Everything is lined up. So I'm saying it now.
Wow.
So it's going to be out there. I'm saying it now. So there will be an announcement about it. The rights are there. We're getting that. And it looks like everything's on the fast track. So emails went out yesterday. Things are clicking. Showrunners, everybody's involved right now. We don't have a script. We're throwing around ideas for the pilot right now, but that's going to be part of our pitch meeting when we meet with the folks who have the rights, because they really want us to do it and we really want to do it. So we're going to fast forward it to today. In today's world, she's still Truck Turner.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have some of the, black exploitation feel to it, but not heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Set today, real world. Everything that's going on in the real world right now is happening. But with the fact that we have Truck Turner in the world.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, the ideas that we have right now, everybody loves them. And and of course I'm playing truck, man. I'm playing truck. So I get to go there.
Wow.
Yeah, so there it is.
Yeah.
It's out there now. So
that's exciting. So it's like when you think about bringing him to this time period, is wow.
Yep. Fast forward to now. So we would love to do it for Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, something like that.
Yeah.
My whole wish list would be for the show 8 seasons. I mean, not 8 seasons, 8 episodes, 3 seasons.
Yeah.
What I would like to do, and especially it's important now because of everything that's going on right now. This can fit right in.
Yeah.
Real world. You look outside. What's going on now is what's happening in Truck Turner's world.
Wow.
So it's gonna be interesting. Real interesting.
Yeah, man. You gotta keep us in the loop with how things are developing.
Yeah, I will. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
So here's our next question. This is an interesting one. I want to know how you answer this one.
Okay.
Melissa Mayer says, has Moon seen what lies beyond the Badlands? Because when we meet you, you're technically not in the Badlands. So
yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, but I would suspect that there are cities and communities set up, I just think the whole control with the Barons in the Badlands, it was all about the opium distributing. Mm-hmm. And they distribute to everybody. So they haven't really expounded on all that yet.
Okay.
They will. So get ready for that. It will probably be in the following season. Okay. They want to have to.
Okay.
Because what happens in that last frame in episode 16 is going to blow everybody's mind. And it's a total different thing, man. I was like, when I read it, I was like, what? Oh yeah.
Really?
Because there's some new characters that come in that's off the chain. And you're going to, I can already. When we, okay, all right. When we go off the air, I'll tell you something.
Okay.
But it won't be too much, so folks, don't worry about it. I won't have major inside stuff.
There you have it, you guys. All right. The next question comes from Heather Terrell, and it says, "What inspired you to audition for the role, and what is the most rewarding part of playing Moon?"
All right, so I saw the trailers for season 1, and I was all salty and stuff because I'm like, all right, I'm a martial artist and I'm not on this show.
Yeah. Right.
And I had just came off of doing the year before Low Winter Sun for AMC. Mm-hmm. Right. So and folks at the network dig me, and I dig them. Everybody, they're wonderful people. And I was like, how did this get by me? How did I not know about this show?
Yeah.
So I just swore up and down I wasn't going to watch the show. Right? I'm just mad. I'm just angry. Right? And I'm walking around here. And so my mother calls me and goes, Sherman, have you seen Badlands? Oh, I got to tell you, it just. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to know about it. I'm not on the show. Bye-bye now. Click-clack. Right? You're just jealous. Yeah. Click-clack. Right? So, you know, I would catch a couple of the shows, and I just said to myself, you know what? I'm going to get on this show. I'm going to get on this show. Right? There's a character that's going to come along, and I'm going to nab that character. Right? And sure enough, I got a call from my agent and said, hey, would you put yourself on tape for Badlands? I'm like, yeah. So my business partner, Tim Cogshill, who's a film critic and director, basically said, come over here, man, and we'll shoot it. And I'll shoot it like a freaking movie. I'll shoot it like you're going to do it on the day. Yeah. And that's what we did. And so it was the scene. There was a scene where I'm talking to him and Baji about the whole thing about not going back to the Badlands. If you go back, your wife and your kid are going to be in danger. That whole thing when I'm cooking the fish. And then the second big audition piece was when he's concentrating and taking out the candles with the sword, with the moon sword.
Yep, I remember.
And so that's what we did. And I actually had to do that.
Oh, wow.
I actually had to do that. And I've never picked up a broadsword in my life until I shot that scene.
Oh, wow.
And until I showed up on that bridge with this, they say, here's your sword. I'm like, whoa. Right? Daniel didn't even see the sword until the day we shot that scene.
Oh, wow.
And he asked me they handed the sword to him and he looks at it. And he goes, okay, I like it. He goes, what do you think, Sherman? And I'm like, it's a little big, but okay, cool. So I had to do the whole thing, taking out the candles with the sword. I've never done that before, and I did it. So I did it in the audition piece, and I didn't hear anything for 4 weeks. And I was walking around again, all salty and stuff. And then I got that call, and I was like, ha! Right. So it paid off. It paid off. So I am so happy and thrilled and blessed, and I can go on and on about being in the right place at the right time. And that's what it was. And a lot of the time, it's luck. It's being in the right place at the right time. Everybody has skills and talent and everything like that. But if you fit that character and they see that, they should take advantage of that. And they did. And I am very grateful for that. Again, I just find myself being in the right place at the right time to play Nathaniel Moon. I just think it's wonderful.
We lucked up because like I said, I don't think anybody else could inhabit that role.
Oh, man, thank you. I appreciate it, and that makes me feel good because it lets me know that when I have to revisit him, it does put some pressure on me. But then again, it makes me work even harder. So it's not like I can go away from Nathaniel Moon for a while and I can just slide back in because I'm always going to bring something new to the table. Right. Because I don't know what's next for him. Right. I don't know what's next. So as an actor, I have to be open and receptive to whatever they come up with. And whatever they come up with, and then I have to I have to tweak my knobs a little bit and go, okay, cool, that's cool. I have to get there. It's just like unlocking a safe. You just, trying to find a combination. You run in the combination of the thing, you open the safe, and it works. Right. Right. And then I want to change the combination. All right, I got to remember that. Change the combination, got to do it again. So I'm never stagnant or never just in one place. It's very important. That's the only way. That's the only way for any actor to, I feel, to approach a character because, you can tell when you see a long run of a show where the actors aren't keeping it interesting. They keep it interesting on Westworld. They keep it interesting on Game of Thrones. Yeah. They keep it interesting. Those actors are not just showing up and doing, the same old stick. Yeah, I would agree with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to keep it interesting. Yeah. You got to keep me watching the show. Right. That's right. All
right. So, you know what? I'm going to skip this question. I'm going to ask because that was one of my questions. So, I'll get killed if I don't get through as many someone else's questions as I can. So here's a question from my brother too. So he doesn't beat me up. So he asked, how often do you train? And did dieting play a big role in you getting ready to play the character of Moon?
Second season, yeah. Second season. Third season, yeah. First season, you know, since I didn't hear anything, I kind of slacked off of my workout and everything. So, but you know, knowing that I was going to come back, you know, I'm like, okay, I make sure I'll make sure that I'm in the best shape possible, because I knew I was going to have to go to fight camp this time, and so I kind of overtrained before I went to fight camp last year.
Okay.
But I do something every day, and it's hard for me sometimes to not do anything because you got to let your body rest. But I try to do something every day, stretch, you know, do something. You know, so there's something I can do, even if it's just taking a walk. I'm doing something every day. And even when we were shooting, we would have these little mini fight camps.
Okay.
You know, if we had a couple of days off, we would still go. But we all joined gyms. We all worked out. And again, I mean, you have all these other professionals there, all these great stunt performers, and that's what they are, stunt performers, that are known throughout the world right now. Some of those guys right now, half of them are with Andy and Ruda. Andy Chang and Ruda are right now doing the Michael Bay movie with Ryan Reynolds. And so they're in Florence, Italy. Bastards. So half the Badlands crew, half the Badlands fight crew are in, and they're posting pictures, and I'd be mad, I'd be salty, man. I'm just but I light them up, you know. Like, yeah, that's lit,
Right.
But yeah, they're out there, you know, hanging out at Lake Como or for one couple of days, and then back in Florence, and then in Rome. Just like, whatever, man. Whatever, suckers.
The good life.
So yeah, the good life. So, you know, those guys have to keep themselves in tip-top shape every day. So do we.
Yeah.
So even on hiatus, you know, we're still constantly, everybody's still constantly doing something. You know, I know that Lewis is doing Wu Assassins. So
that's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be on Netflix.
Okay. I
forgot the name of the place that they all go to there, but it's the equivalent of what we have here, which is 8711. Yeah, 8711. Which is where I know Halle Berry's training over there right now, because they just went back to work for John Wick 3, so they had a hiatus. So they were there. Everybody goes there and trains. Keanu was there a couple of weeks ago training again, and that's where Charlize Theron had to go for Atomic Blonde. Okay. You know, it's the same group of guys.
Oh, wow.
And so yeah, it's the same group of guys. So they're bringing it. So they're going to start changing the face of the action of what we see now. They're going to start changing. So we're going to have two different. We're going to have the Hong Kong, and then we're going to have this other kind of like brutal, more break your bones, you know, just straight up. And they do the same thing. They will not. The actors have to learn those movements, so they do the same thing, which is good. I mean, you know, so you know, you can tell the fakies from the realies.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of camera angles and shots and cuts. No. We're just seeing Al do the stuff, man.
That's right.
We're seeing Al do the stuff, man. Go for it, Al.
But you know, it's so interesting, and I think people will be excited about that. Now I'm primarily practicing jiu-jitsu, but I think I don't know if you said in another video, you told me but I do have a black belt in Tenshin Pai, which is a form of Chinese martial arts.
Right.
But when I go to the jiu-jitsu school, the guys are like, "Man, are we going to see any more jiu-jitsu?" And I say, "Well, you see some of it in there, but you know." But I think Daniel brought up a good point. It's hard to make jiu-jitsu look, unless it depends on, I guess, how it's shot, look really dynamic on the ground. We see a little bit of it in the John Wick series too, but yeah.
They do a lot of throws, a lot of breaks, a lot of traps. We don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, and which is for a reason. I mean, you know, it's the Hong Kong style,
right?
And it's the Matrix style, and so is Kill Bill. You know, so you know, I like that too.
Yeah.
You know, and it keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
You know, and still you have to know what you're doing, and you have to know your angles, and you have to know how to, you know, swing a sword, and your cuts, you know, your 45s, your you know, all that stuff. It's really cool. You know, you have to think.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. A few more questions.
All right.
And then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
Let's see. Did I read? No, okay, I read that one to you. So this one asks, Patrick R. Myers asks, who was your favorite dueling partner? I'm not sure if this means what was your favorite fight scene against who, but that's the question. So
I don't have any favorites because they're all great. I love. No, it was such a compliment when I went to a barbecue at Al's house for season 2 premiere.
Okay. And
when Daniel told me that was his favorite fight scene, and still today he says that we had, that kind of blew me away. You know, I was like, what? Really? But that's my favorite. I love the Widow fight. I love the fight with MK. I love the fight with the Iron Rabbit.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's some coming up that's going to be really, really brutal. I can't wait for you guys to see those fight scenes that are coming up.
I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, I think I like all of them, and each one was different. You know, each fight scene was different. I really liked the fight scene with MK because it was just open hand for me.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Cool. It was open hand, and that was such an homage to Neo and Morpheus.
Yeah.
That was that.
Yeah.
That was his fight scene. That's what that was.
That was really cool. It's funny because one of my favorite fight scenes with you two is the one with Tilda, but the one or the Iron Rabbit at that point. But it's funny because that I feel like there were a lot of nods in that. I feel like at one point there was kind of a nod to to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon when she kind of spins down with the sword.
Exactly. That was all that. Yes.
So
yes.
yeah. So that was one of my favorite scenes to see you fight in.
Yeah, that was really cool because when we run into the woods,
right,
and we got to that part where we're shooting, I'm like, oh dude, this is Hidden. She's gonna come out the tree. Oh, this is Hidden Tiger. This is what that is. Oh, cool. It's so cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, and so what happens is I end up geeking out for a couple of seconds. I'll end up like just like, and that day was so cool because Mikey, our first AD, we were using the pop-out powder. You know, when you hit somebody, the powder comes off, right? So. The dust flies off of you. And so we were using that, and I had already chopped the fence that Tilda kicks at me. And so we needed to get another shot of me just, being there in the pop-up powder in the air. And so Mikey just hit me in the face with it.
Oh.
Right? It was funny. But what I said to him, it was on camera. And he ran. He ran, but that was such a fun day. That was such a fun day because that was a big nod to that film with her coming out of the trees and using the trees for camouflage and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It was really cool. And I'm glad that her character was the only one that did that and not mine. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't make sense for Moon to be doing that because I feel Moon is more of a samurai than ninja.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely could see the Iron Rabbit. You can see her executing something like that. She seems like she would. So. Yeah. Plus,
Allie has that, she has that essence of, and Allie's just, she feels sneaky. Like she just, and she's, I love her so much. And, and she's fast too. Both her and Aramis are fast. They weren't playing around. They were swinging. They were coming. They were going for the fences. They were going. I was like, oh, really? Oh, okay. All right. It's so funny.
Man. All right, so I'm going to ask you one last question, and then we will wrap up. There was one in here that was really good. Let me see if I can find it. No, did I? Oh, I may have asked you almost. Oh, here's one by Nat that was really good. You actually touched on this, I think, in one of third person's videos. But do you know what the language is on Moon's sword, and if so, what does it say?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know what it says, but I took a look at this sword. I'm like, what is this? Mm-hmm. So it kind of looks like a very it's written in Aramaic, but I would say it has something to do with honor, and if your death would come, let it come by a noble and honorable end and fight. And I think. That sword has, this power to it because that sword is a character upon it by itself on the show. That show has its own cheer. Yeah. You know what I mean? The sword ready? Yeah, it's in the cheer over there drinking coffee. So that sword is very important. So I would say what's written on that sword it has something to do with honor, battle, and just facing your enemy and giving your enemy a clean death, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think and also you see writing on a sword, and somebody sees that, you're fighting somebody, you see all this stuff in there. That's another distraction.
Yeah.
It's another distraction. You're swinging at me with some sword, with a sword that has writing on it. All right. So I think that's what it is. I would project that's what it is. I mean, that's what I said it was. It had something to do with battle. It had something to do with honor, and facing your enemy and clean deaths and so forth and so on, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that fits with Moon, definitely.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's
my thing is how he came by that. I'm trying to figure out, and which is a question of creating one's own backstory. So I'm trying to figure out where he got that from, and in my mind, he got that from somebody who mentored him.
Yeah.
That was his mentor sword.
Yeah.
And it's been handed down through the ages because it's the legendary black sword.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I remember when he and Baji took it after that unfortunate loss of your hand, and just and seeing Nas's reaction to it, like, this is Moon Sword.
Exactly. When he said, it was like, what? So that's exactly what it is. So I that was one of the things that was running around in my head when I first got the sword. He got this sword from his mentor who taught him, and once his mentor passed on, it was passed on to him. Yeah. And he was supposed to do the same thing. But at that moment where we meet him, he wasn't training anybody. He was by himself, because of the loss of his wife and child. And so, what was written on that sword was not reflected of his personal belief at the time. He felt disgraced, and he was a disgraced Ronin.
Yeah.
All the way up until when he has that fight with the widow, he's a disgraced Ronin.
Yeah.
And I like it when she said, the widow said, "So I see you got your toy back."
Right.
Your favorite. I see you got your favorite toy back, or something like that. And so he was like, yeah. He felt satisfied.
Yeah.
And he had to face her about the whole thing about, well, I didn't kill Sonny. Sonny's not coming back. Take my word for it.
Right.
And she says, I'll cut your head off, both of you, if he comes back. And I was like, okay.
That's interesting because I feel like that was on Moon's part, it was a little bit of a power play because she wanted Sonny dead, and so for him to come and say, no, I didn't do it, and here's the reason why, and that's the answer. I'm not.
Yeah. The answer is he has a child. Listen, you don't have a child right now. I had a child, that didn't grow up. He has a child and he has a chance to do something. So he took my hand. I got this mimic. It's better than my damn hand. There was a line in there that that was in the first draft, where I say, I don't remember the real thing ever being able to do that. And I wish they would have kept it.
Yeah.
I wish they would have kept it.
It's funny. Oh man, yeah, that would have been nice.
That would have been nice, because I'm looking at this hand and I'm like, I don't remember the real thing when the blade comes out. But I think they wanted to use the blade as a secret because she said it has a retractable blade.
Right.
I can talk. And so, I stick out the blade and I go, whoa, I don't remember the real hand being able to do that. And it would have been so cool to do that. But they nixed the line.
They gave you a good line, though, because they did it when I think someone asked you, how do you feel? And you were like, I feel like a new man.
Like a new man. Yeah. So they kept that. They kept that. So that was all part of that whole speech.
Okay.
I never remember the real thing ever to do that. How do you feel? Like a new man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
All right, you guys. So I know that was a little bit abrupt, but that actually was the end of the questions. I do want to say I am sorry that I did not get a chance to ask all of the questions, but as you know, this was a really long interview and this was part 2, so I didn't want to exhaust too much time with Sherman. Thank you, Sherman, so much for coming on and taking the time to be with us, the fans. We love you guys so much for this. It is really surreal to actually be able to have cast from a show that we love so much, so we appreciate it. Guys, I'm actually going to try and get Sherman on again. Sherman, if you see this, going to try and get you on again before the second half of season 3 so that we can get into it a little bit more and maybe get our minds ready and set for the second half of season 3, which you've already said is going to be off the chain, so we're looking forward to that. Guys, if you are new here, welcome, especially if you're a fan of Into the Badlands. As you can see, we really do love this show, and we're really all about building community around this show on this platform of YouTube. So I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. I definitely hope that you've been over to the playlist to get into the content over there. I do want to share one more thing, and then I'm going to let you guys go. The Facebook group, man, if you're not a part of this group, link in the description. Make sure you go there and check it out. It is the ITB Facebook group. At this point, we're probably around maybe 9,000 or 10,000 strong of international fans, and it's a really, really great group, and it's a closed group. So we're all about ITV content. So guys, meet me over there. Sherman is over there as well. Link in the description below. Join that community if you're a big fan of the show. I really think that you will enjoy yourself. As always, guys, like, comment, and subscribe if you're new here. Thank you so much. And next, I will see you in the comments. Peace.